Podcast. It's Wednesday at 5. Our last show at 5 o'clock.
Our last show at 5 o'clock. That's right. I'm glad you remembered.
Next week we'll be live at 6 p.m.
New time, everybody. New time.
All right, and hopefully the same viewers because we have a good crew of people here.
We do.
I don't care what you say about them when we're not on air. It's a good crew of people.
Especially
my
Paul
name,
Connors.
Yes. So my name's Tony. Icon Furtado. To my left, Mikey Snellgrove. To his left, Diamond Dave DeShulo.
There you go.
All right.
Man, this has the potential to be a really good show tonight.
We'll mess it up somewhere along the lines.
I don't know if the camera turned on because I pressed the button, but I don't know if it...
You just want to flip that.
Flips
The
this.
people at home, we're just trying to get the... And there it is. We are good to go everywhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right. Something's going right here.
A little bit of a rocky stop, but we're good, right?
Yeah, I jinxed
We're
it,
good.
but we're good.
All right.
So, what I wanted to tell you guys is, we've been doing the show for quite some time now. Finally got it up and running on the Spotify, on iTunes, on YouTube.
You're doing a great job with all that because neither one of us would have any clue. You're doing a great
exactly.
job.
Thank you, you know.
I'd be
Trying
lost.
to get it to grow, so everyone please like, share, follow, all that stuff.
Follow us on Instagram at the very least, and then that'll lead you to everything else.
But I got our analytics back for the shows finally. I was able to get it to jumble everything together. And I want to say a big shout out and thank you to the women who watch the show, because they make up 60% of our demographic.
Tons of eye candy here. I can see why the women are watching.
You know?
There's a lot going on with the three of us.
A
men.
lot of it is there's Tina, you know, my wife and my mother.
Yeah.
But to all the other women too, thank you very
So
much.
there's 5 people watching, and it's Tina, your wife, and your mother. 60% of our audience is women.
No, I gotta say our numbers on the podcast grew exponentially last week. So thank you everybody who's watching it out there. And I tell you, I mean, we're happy you guys all join us live every week. But the quality, the sound, everything else is much better if you were to listen to it on the iTunes and Spotify, and even on the YouTube, because our producer Trevor McMasters behind the scenes has been doing a wonderful job getting our YouTube live and sounding pretty good. So I have no idea how we sound up it.
Trevor McMasters?
Yes, that is Johnny's son. Johnny's
I know
oldest
him.
son.
He
Yes.
looks just like Klay Thompson.
I can't picture Klay Thompson right now.
If you look at Klay Thompson, can you bring up a picture of Klay Thompson for crying out loud? He looks just like McMasters' son is jacked out of his mind.
Yes, he is. The whole McMasters family.
Yeah.
Yes. Specimens.
Yeah, genetic freaks. But he looks like a jacked up Klay Thompson.
Oh, yeah, dude, I wasn't thinking. You're absolutely right. He
I'm
does.
always right.
Nailed it.
I'm always right.
Nailed it. Yeah, you did good. All right.
Yeah, it looks just like him, right?
He does. And that is our producer extraordinaire. YouTube only.
Okay. He looks more like Klay Thompson than Klay Thompson looks like Klay Thompson. It's
Yeah.
weird. All right.
So, everyone have a good weekend?
I had a good weekend. I can barely remember it, but that's because a lot of drinks were going down over the weekend. But overall, pretty good from what I remember.
Did you catch the fights?
I watched Peter Barrett, bartender at West Bridgewater Barrett's, with another first-round knockout. Knockout. He had, I believe it was a submission.
If we're giving shout-outs, Brendan Boats.
All right, Brendan, Peter
First
Barrett.
round, you know.
Let's give them a hand.
I can't get the applause working tonight, but 4-0 on his one fight and one fight only campaign. So, you know, showing that the old guys can still do it.
You know what's funny? When I got into sneakers, I was like, I'm going to buy like 2 pairs. And then, so I'm kind of like Brendan, right?
Yeah.
One fight, all of a sudden he's 4-0.
Yeah.
We'll be having this conversation 2 years from now. He'll be 11-0 with 11 knockouts.
I always ask him, are you all done? You got one more in you? No, I'm all done. A year goes by,
then
and
you get the itch.
I get
You
the
get the
email,
itch.
tickets are available, and he's back in the ring. He's got to go till he loses, you know?
No. You know what? Go 10-0, double-digit wins, go out on top. No losses.
That's right, 10-0.
10-0. Let's go, Brendan.
Yeah, you got 10 more fights in you.
He's got 6 more.
I was disappointed. I
6
wasn't
more,
able
yeah.
to see this one, so we had prior commitments. But I heard
Easter weekend.
big Easter weekend.
Yeah.
You know, I missed Ty Law. He was there, so.
Yeah, I'm sure it was an interesting night. I didn't even know about it, honestly. I found out from Todd.
The 2 men of Plymouth weren't even there.
I was there. I was in Plymouth watching the fight on TV.
Nope, I ended up in Middleborough.
Yeah.
Well,
Back at the
probably better to
back
avoid.
at the brewery.
Yeah, probably better to avoid Plymouth that night for if you wanted a quiet night.
Oh yeah. It was very loud, very action packed.
I actually
loved
had,
every second of it.
Dude, the Cage Titans put on a great event. I mean, that has grown.
Yeah, I used to go back in the day. I remember when it first started, and they had an event at the Brockton Rock Stadium.
Yeah.
And it was a disaster because it was kind of wet there, and the fighters were slipping, and it just didn't go well. But now they've been doing a lot of their fights at the Plymouth Memorial Hall.
Yeah.
And it seems like they sell out quickly.
Have you been to one?
No, I have not. I gotta check it out.
Yeah.
It's a great take. I mean, there's not a bad seat. I mean, over time they've really gotten it together with the intros, with the screens. I mean, it's they're second to none. I mean, it's not a geez, I almost called it a WCW event, but I guess
WWE.
no, not even
MMA?
MMA. But it is. I mean, it's good
UFC.
time.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Thank you.
It is MMA.
This
Yes.
Saturday, I'm going to see Bob Marley at.
Isn't he dead?
Yeah.
No, this is the comedian, the old white guy from Maine.
I didn't know if somebody was impersonating
No,
or you were
no.
going to the
No.
movie.
He had a kid.
His name's Bob Marley. Pretty funny guy. He's been touring, and he'll be in Plymouth Memorial Hall Saturday. Going to check that out. But,
So you'll be in Plymouth on Saturday.
I will. Yes.
We'll keep that in mind.
All right. I will not be.
Yeah, I don't know if I will be. I think I have something coming up, but we'll see. All right, so let's get to some topics at hand. Where we starting?
Let's dive into. Let's just go with just another NFL athlete, just athlete in general, being a complete idiot. Let's just touch a little bit on Rasheed Rice.
Rasheed Rice. So let the people know he got into
Rasheed Rice on the Easter weekend was allegedly drag racing his Lamborghini SUV against his. I'm not sure if it was also his Corvette, or it might have just been registered into his name. Got into like a 4 or 5 car pileup. Sent a woman and her 4-year-old to the hospital. But the best part of it all is somebody caught it on the dash cam, and it shows allegedly Rasheed Rice and a group of men grab some bags and some other things out of the back of the car and take off.
Well, the Lamborghini was a lease.
It was a lease.
It was a lease, yeah. So I don't know if he was trying to escape that and say it wasn't his. I don't know.
This is why people hate athletes, right? Just, you have life by the balls. You're making a good living. Just be somewhat normal, right? Just be somewhat normal.
So if he has a Ruggs situation and he kills the person, he's going to jail, right?
Yeah.
But no one really got hurt too bad. So what's he going to get? They might suspend him for a couple games.
Right. I'm just hoping the NFL finally, they need to really clamp down. They need to.
Yeah.
They need to, because I'm like, dude, what are you guys doing? Like you just said, like, you're making all this money. You have all this, like, the NFL needs to make an example. Like, if you are in our league and you're not going to get your crap together, you're going to be out of this league.
Right, just act somewhat appropriate. You don't have to be perfect, but don't be an idiot.
And you'd think being on the Chiefs,
You just had a
you
tremendous...
just won the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
doesn't matter.
You're playing with guys that are all a little older, a little wiser.
You don't see anything stupid from Kelsey. You don't see anything stupid from Mahomes, right?
Right.
And who's this lesser guy, an idiot, acting like a jackass?
I mean, the
Go out
superstar
racing.
Chris Jones on the defense, you don't see anything. Like,
Right.
Snead was there, nothing. And
Yeah.
you're like, what are you doing?
Just a kid.
Yeah.
But an idiot. Because at some point, Patrick Mahomes was a kid, right? And we didn't see any of this from Patrick Mahomes.
Right. Well, he grew up in the right environment, I guess.
And it's not even that, honestly. It's with a lot of these guys, it's who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's
doesn't
huge,
that always
too.
be the downfall of these
We
guys?
saw it with John Morant last year, right?
Yep.
Hanging
No.
out with idiots.
Dude, Tony, the list is endless.
Yeah.
Guys, it's like you need to... the NFL just needs to also do a better job of prepping these rookies. I know you got like the Chris Carter stuff and all these guys come out, but you need someone to be like, listen, guys, you got to cut these people off.
Yeah.
You got to cut this garbage in your life off, because these guys aren't... No. I mean, if those guys were his real friends in the car looking out for his best interests, they'd be like, Rasheed, you have to stick around. You can't leave.
Right.
Like, you got to stay. Like, they're not idiots. There's
but
cameras everywhere. The cars are registered to you. No, it's, come on, we can get you out of here. We can get you. Let's go. No one's going to see us.
And then the NFL will try to sweep it under the rug so they don't get bad publicity, and then these guys continue to do the same crap over and over again.
That's what I mean. They need to stop letting them get away with it, or it's going to continue.
Right.
You know, I mean, look at what just happened with the Ruggs situation. That was horrific.
I don't even know
The Henry Ruggs, the wide receiver,
he's one of the top receivers.
was going about 100. Sorry, Dave.
Oh yes.
Out of Alabama.
Yeah.
Was going about 140 in his vet
right.
with his girlfriend and smashed into the car and basically blew it up into flames. And if you watch the video, it is one of the most horrific things because you see, like, you don't see the car in flames, right? But you could tell the car's in flames, and you could hear the poor girl screaming.
Oh,
you know, and I mean, that's horrific enough. And then at the time, you didn't, like, if you just saw the footage, you didn't know if Ruggs was alive.
Yeah.
Like, you hear the girlfriend screaming. It is awful.
Yeah.
And it's just, woof.
Oh, man.
And then to see this idiot out doing this again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of idiots in this world. There truly are. Yeah. You know, whether it's an 18-year-old kid doing that has nothing going for him, or an NFL superstar. This happens, like, too much. Like, there are car accidents, but there are people that kind of push the limits a little too much. It's just, dude, especially when you have, you're making money, life should be good. What are you doing?
Well,
it's unfortunate. Idiot.
All right, that's all I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
All right, enough of that idiot.
Enough
Let's
of
go on
Rasheed
to
Rice.
someone that's not an idiot, in Caitlin Clark.
So this,
how about that?
This is the first women's almost anything that I've watched to really sound sexist. You know, I just so
I think that goes throughout the country, though.
it does, but I think that's going to change now, at least with women's basketball, because you had this last matchup, and it wasn't even the Final Four or the championship, anything. It was just the Elite Eight, and you had on one bracket you had Caitlin Clark with Iowa versus LSU. With Reese, and there's a couple other girls on his team, but she's really the most outspoken one. And then you had on the other bracket UConn and Paige Butkers, and then oh man, the other woman slips my voice, but another very good woman on the team that they were playing. So it was really a great weekend of women's basketball, and like I said, it's the first time I've ever watched it, and I really
That particular game will probably get.
Are you talking about the Iowa LSU game?
Yeah, the ratings for that will top the championship.
There was like 13.1 million or something. The rating was
everyone wanted
absurd.
to see Reese against
Caitlin Clark. Yep.
And just a rematch from last year. But I mean, going forward, I don't know if a lot of people are going to watch.
I think people are going to watch.
Right now, this next matchup they're going to watch because you have Caitlin Clark again, and then you have Paige Butkers for UConn, who is, I mean, I know she got hurt last year, so the buzz went down a little bit. It took her a little while this year to get her feet back on the ground, but she is like the next best thing to Caitlin Clark. She is fierce, ferocious. You're gonna if Caitlin Clark wasn't there, the hype around this girl would be.
See, I disagree. I think it's Caitlin Clark and everyone else, because we've seen people better than Reese before. Brittany Griner was great.
Right, I'm not talking about Reese.
Right. But
Reese,
I think everybody's watching these games because of Caitlin Clark. I think she's like the Hulk Hogan, like coming in and saving wrestling.
So the other part of it is not just the Caitlin Clark. It's with this LSU game, you had a lot of girls who all season long, they talk a lot of crap.
Yes.
You know?
But none of my friends were watching that game because of the girls at LSU.
But see, whatever LSU went to the last couple of games, because people want to see them lose. They want to see Reese lose.
Yeah, but my guy friends watched the game hoping that Caitlin Clark would shoot.
I but like, you watch it. I didn't even say you the girl game. You watch it, Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, and then my buddies, everyone's talking about Caitlin Clark. She reminds people of Steph Curry. And I think Caitlin Clark is showing us what we want to see in women's basketball. We don't want to see the big 6'8" girl down low, like hammering away and grabbing rebounds. We want to see sharpshooters. We want to see Steph Curry-like performances.
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody's watching. I can't even speak. I'm so excited about freaking Caitlin Clark.
But it's funny watching. So, again, I'm going to go back and say it again for, I think, the third time. This is my first time watching women's basketball. And other than Caitlin Clark, I'm watching it. Sorry to you women's basketball players. Sorry to all but a lot of them, I'm like, man, this is awful basketball.
Yeah.
It's,
At times, it gets very, very... I've tried watching it. I dated a girl that was in the D2 Final Four.
let me preface it. All of these women out there could
Oh, if I played her one-on-one, she would destroy me.
but that's not what I'm saying.
But when you watch it, sometimes it gets a little sloppy. But you watch Caitlin Clark, it's like, wow, this is really good basketball.
Get some of those, again, this other woman, Paige, this other girl, Paige, she's just... If you watch this matchup coming up on Friday night between UConn and Iowa, you're going to be like, whoa, this girl, she's just mean. And mean, and it's just the way that she plays.
Is she a sharpshooter?
She's a sharpshooter, but she also has a low post game.
We don't want to see that. We just want to see the bottom threes.
The low post game is probably the wrong way, but she could take them to the hole and lays up.
All right.
And this is going to sound bad, but lays up like a man.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like a nice finish.
Yeah.
And I think if you saw a lot of this Iowa game, a lot of the girls got to the hole. It just doesn't... It just doesn't look as good. It doesn't look as fluid. I'm sorry.
Choppy.
And it's,
looks a little choppy.
Again, people are like, it's just... Hey, I'm speaking for what I saw.
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe Caitlin Clark kind of changes the game a little bit because she has everybody watching.
Right? And these other girls coming out, like... This other girl, Reese... I mean, it drove me crazy. It's like, okay, if you're going to talk all this trash... And it brought a lot of... Even last year, she was the girl that was pointing to her ring.
I remember that. All
right? Yeah. So she got a lot of notoriety. She got a lot of notoriety because of how she talks and how she approaches the game. All right? Which is fine. But it really bothered me when she got up to the podium, she started playing the victim role.
Said how people have threatened her life?
But I'm like, listen.
Come on. Who? Who threatened your life?
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of assholes out there. Don't get me. You can't. There are a lot of people, a lot of ignorant people out there. But all I'm going to say is, if you are going to talk trash, you need to be able to
back it up.
Not back it up, but you need to be able to take it. And that's coming from a guy who talks a lot of. Anyone who knows me, I talk a lot of trash.
It's pretty annoying at times.
But you need to be able to take it. And it really it bothered me that like you got up there like really you ran your mouth. You went out and she took a crown while Caitlin Clark was shooting and like put it on the chair right where Caitlin Clark could see it in pre-games.
Yeah.
Like it just and you talk like, oh, I'm from where I'm from. This is how we play the game because people were all on her all year with how much crap she would talk and they would call her ignorant and stuff like that. She's like, this is where I'm from. This is how people talk. This is how we do. We talk trash. This is basketball. It's all well and great, but you need to be able to take it when you lose.
Yeah, and
you need to be able to take all the bad that comes with it because people want to see you lose when you talk that much trash.
And I'll tell you what, Reese, whatever the hell her first, and another thing too, LSU wasn't out there for the national anthem, which drives me crazy. The whole team wasn't out there. That pisses me off. But Caitlin Clark actually made Reese a little bit more popular because you said Reese showing that ring finger last year. Yeah. That's because Caitlin Clark was involved.
Yeah.
Right? So
they beat
Caitlin Clark uplifts women's basketball as a whole.
Yeah.
So a lot of the publicity Reese is getting is because Caitlin Clark is around.
Yep. So you got her, and so which is going to be great next year is Caitlin Clark, this Paige, a few other people, and there's another woman that they're really trying to push, Sabrina. She was the one who did the 3-point contest with Curry this year when they battled each other back and forth.
So all WNBA?
Yeah, so it's finally taking a long time, but you're finally it's finally going to get some little bit of star power. You're going to see it start to grow because these women coming into it now, as much as people want to talk trash about Reese, she's good for the game.
Yeah, but you know what? She's not exciting. If I'm a girl, right, and I'm 14 years old, I'm like, all right, Caitlin Clark, she's a shooter. She plays like Steph Curry. That's what I'm going to model my game after.
But you asked, for all the 14-year-old girls watching the show,
which we probably have anywhere from 0 to 0. Yeah.
You know, they know her.
Yeah,
they know Clark. They know Reese. They know Paige.
Yeah. But that's not what's drawing attention. It's Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's going to get the endorsements.
I'm not arguing with you there. I'm just saying if there are these other players.
If anything's going to make that women's game exciting, it's going to be more players like Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to. I haven't seen Brittany Griner play one game in the WNBA.
But you got to remember the media. I mean, Tony, you watched her play last night or 2 nights ago. Yes, she was lights out. She was dynamic. But if it wasn't for ESPN and all these other broadcasters hyping her up, she is not like there's nothing that professional. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's got a lot of people around her.
Right, but
she has a great PR.
She's fun to watch. She's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Reese is not fun to watch.
No, my comp isn't Reese. I'm just saying that if ESPN and all these other people did not hype up Caitlin Clark, nobody would care about Iowa.
Right. I know, but when my buddies are messaging me, did you see that shot? Oh, man, she's on fire.
But they wouldn't have known about her without all this hype train behind her.
But then again, we wouldn't have known about LeBron in high school without the hype.
Yeah, but we watch basketball. We would have known about him. We watched the clips. We watch all that stuff. Like, there was a lot of clips of LeBron. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Like, it's the media and the PR train behind Caitlin Clark that's doing an amazing job.
But when she's on the main stage, she's tearing it up.
That's the other.
And when my buddies are messaging me, it's not because ESPN's all over her. It's because she's tearing it up, and she's fun to watch.
And next up, soccer. We just spent 10 minutes on the WNBA or women's basketball. Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, but you know what? She could change the game a little bit.
But I'm saying it's going to be a great game. We'll be talking next week about this UConn. I don't even care about the championship, anything else. It's this Final Four matchup with UConn and Iowa. That's going to be a fun take. You know? And then we get the men's Final Four. And they play this weekend.
Yeah. So Saturday, and then the finals will be on Monday.
But they had the other story. The guy from NC State, the 6'7",
big fat guy.
Yeah, that has a vending business.
Good for him.
Yep. They have another. Purdue has a giant.
A giant too. Don't know his name. UConn has a giant. You know.
All I know is UConn's favored, and they're probably the best team in college basketball. But
yeah,
I've watched zero college basketball.
I don't. I can't.
I've watched more women's college basketball than men's
right now
because of Caitlin Clark.
But now all the hype train behind this guy from NC State, I'm gonna.
Yeah, but he's kind of like a goofy player, kind of like fun. He's like an overweight.
I don't know. From watching the highlights this game, I'm like, how? You know what he reminded me of?
Like a fat Jokic.
No. He reminded me of fat Jokic.
It's like a fat Jokic.
So his move, right, reminds me of Tatum's move. What I mean is,
this guy weighs 380
pounds.
No.
But what I mean is, how does people not stop? Like, you know what Tatum's going to do, right? When he gets on the wing, he's got that little back-to-back, that little backy down, stutter step, fadeaway shot. This guy has the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do these guys not stop it?
You can't duplicate getting bodied by a guy that big in practice. So he hits you for the first time, and you're kind of thrown back. And I think Tatum is a little bit quicker than people probably anticipate.
I'm not comping him to it. Like, I'm just saying it
sounds like you're comping him to it.
But no, I'm saying their move. They have that's their signature move. And I just mean with this guy, the signature move, it's how are they not stopping it? Like, you know, every time if you watch the highlights of him,
that's what
it's
he's going to do.
The same play over and over again.
So, and they're an 11 seed, NC State, or 14?
Yeah, I think they're an 11.
11? Good story.
I don't really know.
Yeah, I think they were 11.
Do you know?
No,
I think they're 11 seed.
You know what I do know? The Boston Red Sox pitching staff.
Pretty good. Very solid. My big issue with this pitching staff is I'd love to have Whitlock and Houck in the bullpen. That way, if you went out and you picked up some free agent pitches, you would have a bullpen of Whitlock and Houck, Jansen, Martin, and then if any starter got hurt, then you could transition Houck or Whitlock into the starting rotation. It's good. It's looking good right now. It's a little thin, but you know what? Give them credit. They're going out and they're making pitches. They're attacking these hitters, and they're looking pretty good.
Like, I don't want to hold any weight to the Oakland series because Oakland's terrible. But they looked really good. You've split in the series against Seattle. Yeah. I mean, Seattle's a team that can pitch.
Yeah.
They can pitch and they can hit.
Yeah. And they're good.
And they looked... I got a little bit of the stats right here. In 5 games, right? In the first 5 games, they only allowed 5 runs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the starters only allowed 5 runs.
And I think 1 walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
And they all pitched at least 5-6 innings, you know? So it was pretty good. I mean, the worst pitching that we've seen lately is, was it last night with Brian Bale?
Yeah. Out of the 5 starters, I know he's young. I was talking to my brother about this. He's the only one that kind of labors through games. I think the other starters, they're a little bit older, and they seem to have a pace when they pitch. There's like a rhythm. With Bale, doesn't seem like he's been able to find his rhythm yet, ever. He just kind of labors.
It seems like he's the type of guy that one game he might throw a great game, and then the next game come out and just a dud.
Lay an egg, yeah. And
And
just
you're
looks,
like, what just happened? Where was the guy from a week ago?
right. And he's young and he has good stuff, but I don't know. I think the Red Sox job is to keep us interested until Patriot training camp. And if you can do that, that's a pretty good season.
Yeah. I mean, again, we talked ad nauseum how the ownership and everything about this team is awful. Don't support this team. This team, you don't want to give any validity to the owners and what they're doing. But like you said a couple weeks ago, and we all followed you with it, is this team's going to be fun to watch, and it's in spite of the ownership.
Yeah.
And it's going to be aggravating because you're going to be like, man, you're going to find yourself watching these guys right now. And they really are, the way they're out there. I mean, I used to hate Duran. Duran is
5 stolen bases.
And just watching this team out there with the energy and the smiles on their face, which is something that you didn't see at all last year.
Yeah, they're playing hard.
The camaraderie with these guys, it's almost like they are all coming together in spite of the ownership.
I know the majority of people didn't stay up to watch the Oakland game last night, but they had Rafaela playing in center. They moved him over to second base, and then back to center field. Cora was actually managing yesterday and managing the lineup, and I don't know if you guys caught Rafaela's catch in the 9th inning or 10th inning.
Yeah, the diving catch.
No, he caught it running, but it's like, wow, what a great jump. So they're just a younger, more athletic team, and they're fun to watch. So, and I think Rafaela's the type of person that, like, we always talked about, there's no fun players on the Red Sox. Like, no kid is going to be like, that's my favorite player. Devers is great, but he's not really fun to watch. He's just a great hitter. Where Rafaela and Duran, they're kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, they're trying to develop some of these younger kids they have. And the thing with this team is, like, as a fan, you want to root for the players, but you don't want to support the owners at all because they're not doing anything to really draw us.
And I'll tell you what, the trade deadline's going to come, and people think they're going to add. What they're probably going to do, they're going to trade Jansen, they're going to trade Tyler O'Neill, they're going to trade all their potential free agents. And same thing as last year, where the players were really upset that they didn't add to the roster.
I don't want to. Yes, you're probably right with that, but I don't want to even think
that
right now.
I know. We just want to enjoy what's happening because it's better than we thought.
Because they are. You just need it. Tyler O'Neill. He's been fun to watch.
He's great. Yeah, he's great.
Trevor Story. As much as I bagged on him forever, it was basically just because of Justin.
Yeah.
But he is a guy that you could get behind here in Boston. He's a gamer. He's a gamer, but he's like he really embraces
he likes
Boston.
It. He likes
it here. Finally came through last night with some hits, some clutch hits. I know we were talking about Brian Bayo. He had a bad outing the night before. I mean, but he's also a guy that.
Yeah, he's young and he's good.
Young.
Yeah.
Cassis is off to a slow start.
Yeah.
They can't all be hot, though.
No, I mean, he'll get going, but he's batting like 167.
Yeah, he did the same thing last year. He batted 190 for
just gotta get
3 months.
Just got to get going.
So the other thing I like about Bayo is he is one of these guys that is trying to learn the language and be able to speak fluent so that he can help his brand and connect to the fans, because he understands. He's like, what was the quote? I'm going to destroy it all. But he's like, I understand where I'm from. Those guys understand me. But here I am playing in Major League Baseball that is in America, and these kids, I want to be able to talk with them, whether it's through the media or I don't want an interpreter helping me talk to guys asking for autographs.
Did you hear the interview with Ellie De La Cruz?
It's another. Okay, I was trying to remember the name. That's another guy that's doing the same thing.
Potential superstar with the Reds, and he did an interview, was speaking English, did a great job. Yeah. And it's like, he's one of the most exciting young players in all of baseball.
He's fun to watch.
He's fun to watch.
You can really get behind
these
him.
Kids he wants to have conversations with these kids, and that's great.
But it's basically, I know we hate it when we talk about these athletes that want to build their brand, but these guys get it. If I want to build my brand here in America, and connect and be a superstar, I need to be able to speak to people.
Is putting the Reds on the map.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they've been so irrelevant for so long.
Yep.
The Pirates are winning games this year. I mean, they've got a couple young players that are exciting to watch.
O'Neill Cruz.
Yeah. I mean, you need these guys to kind of get a little excitement somewhere.
Right.
I mean, the Red Sox, if you're not from here, you don't really know who anyone is on this team.
It's just Devers.
Yeah. And Major League
no
Baseball
one jumps out at you.
Completely destroys their spot because they do nothing like these players. to help push them, to put a little bit more limelight. I mean, you talked about it a couple weeks ago with the opening day. I mean, here we are now, week 2. There are, I mean, for the guys who watch the game, you're like, wow, look at this talent,
Studs.
look at these guys, and MLB just continues to
Baseball
fall flat
has
on their
never
face.
had so many studs at one time,
No.
and baseball just doesn't know how to market it at all.
You got Bryce Harper still in the game, not a young stud, but crushing it. 3 home runs last night, grand slam. You got Mookie Betts killing it. You got Mike Trout off to a great start in
You have
LA.
maybe the greatest athlete of all time with Shohei Ohtani.
I'm just...
Ronald Acuna, like, this is... It's amazing how many great players are in the game. Baseball has no idea what to do with it.
Nope.
No idea.
The fact that Verlander's pitched for 20 years, he's in his 40s and he's still pitching well.
And he's a guy that if you put the microphone in front of him, always says something to draw attention.
Yeah.
Whether it's just like, can't believe he just said that. And he had a superstar model girlfriend too, with Kate Upton there. Come on, right. MLB, what are you doing?
And there's so much going on in the game. Last year was a great season. The Astros just had a no-hitter.
Yeah.
That guy was washing cars 2 years ago. He's a 30-year-old rookie. And he had tryouts with the Mets. They didn't give him any minor league contract. He had tryouts with a great story. You hear nothing about it. Major League Baseball really has no clue what to do with anything that's going on.
No.
All they're worried about is the pitch clock.
Yeah. Which I like.
Shortening games to try to get more people.
And they're also doing a good job of sweeping Ohtani under the rug because nobody's talking about that gambling
no one's
thing.
really talking about it.
I'm happy about it. Keep it sweeping.
Yeah, it's good for baseball that we don't really dig into that too much.
Yep. But, all right, so week 2. We'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, so they have Oakland right now. Hopefully they win today, and then they have the Angels after that, and then they come home. Here's something interesting.
And they come home against Baltimore.
Which
is going to be...
Good team.
Yeah, as I was saying, it's going to be the real test.
Yeah.
Even though the Angels are playing good right now.
The Angels suck.
They have no pitching.
Yeah, that team sucks. They have Mike Trout and nobody else. Now, here's something. Angels have to move Mike Trout in time.
He won't leave.
He has to.
He won't leave. He already said he won't leave. He'll retire.
Then you know what? He's a loser. You're a loser. If you're one of the best players of all time and you don't want to play in the playoffs and you don't want to go to a big market team and you just want to live this life of no stress, I'm going to lose 100 games a season and never... You're a loser.
Has he been to the playoffs? No. Okay.
He's a loser.
Yeah.
Because at least Shohei's like, hey, you know what? I want to be in the limelight. I want the pressure on me. I want to play for the real Los Angeles team and make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds like Trout wants nothing to do with it?
You get both sides of the argument. You're absolutely right with what you're saying right there, Tony.
Always.
I don't need to repeat
Probably
it.
right.
But then you get the other side of it being like, oh, he's loyal to his team. He wants to stay with the team. He wants to win with that team.
They're not going to win. That team needs to reset.
How many players go into a professional sport and say, I don't want to win a championship? Don't matter.
Not even
I don't even need to make the playoffs. I don't care.
I don't think he's
as long as I get my
said
MVPs.
That. I think we're kind of putting words in.
Yeah, but he's not making any attempt to get
Paul
out of
Pierce
there.
wanted to get traded. Kobe wanted when their teams fell apart. It's like, you know what? Reshape the team or I'm out.
Right.
Kobe said it. Paul Pierce said it.
Okay, we're going into a rebuild. Okay, well I'm out of here.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Trout, I'll stick around for the rebuild.
Yeah.
I'll play 40 games a season, collect $40 million. Like, come on. I was going in the direction of, would you potentially trade 2 or 3 of your young guys
100%.
to bring Mike Trout over here, have him DH, have Devers, Trout, and Casas for the next 8 years?
Yeah.
You're paying Trout $40 million a year.
But people will go to the games. They'd love to see Mike Trout here.
You bring Mike Trout in right away. You're in the playoffs.
Right away. I'm buying tickets.
Right.
Right away. Right away. Me and the whole family.
And
you bring the interest back.
And the Angels, who lost Ohtani without trading him, they should have traded him at the deadline. They got nothing for him.
Yeah, they could have got so much.
Could have got a bag for him.
Yeah.
You got to do something with Trout. That team's horrible.
So you already talk Trout. We already got JK saying he would pay a lot of money to see Trout.
Yeah. And then you go Devers, Trout, Casas, 3, 4, 5. Woo.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Instantly.
It would be.
Instantly.
And then, all of a sudden.
And some of these other guys might learn something from him.
Well, and the other thing too is to say this is such a hypothetical. This is never going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
Let's play with it for a minute here. Say they were to do that and trade the pieces away and bring in Trout. All of a sudden now people would be like, oh, and what I mean by people is Major League Baseballers. Oh, the Red Sox are trying again. all right, I'll go to Boston to play with Trout and Devers.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And then before you know it, we're back every year.
Right back where you were. You make that one trade, and you're right back where you were.
Yep. But they won't.
No. Why would you do that?
No, there's going to be no trades this year.
Yeah.
They're going through the season
all
with
you're
this
doing
team.
is trading talent out.
You sound like me a couple weeks ago talking about the Bruins. There's going to be no trades this year.
Yeah. And there almost wasn't any.
Well,
Nothing major.
Speaking of that, let's let Tony have his break.
All right. Be back, guys.
Where did you want to start?
Do you want to start with the highlights and talk about the the win over the Predators last night?
I was going to start with I think since the trade deadline, Ullmark has earned himself the number 1 spot.
Okay.
And he's outplayed Swayman.
Yeah.
I get it. The team is not great in front of either one of them, but he shut out the Predators last night. There was some luck, a couple posts, but man, there was some saves on 2-on-1s. Just incredible. He looked good. And does that translate into anything in the playoffs? No, of course not.
So I've been on the Ullmark train. You know that. I've been pushing. But here we go again, what you just said. Ullmark has played himself in. But just last week we're on the show, and comments are rolling in. Who's playing? Who's doing this? Because Swayman was playing well. And it was I had mentioned Ullmark, and, geez, 3 or 4 people chimed in, and they were like, no, it's Swayman. It's Swayman. This is just what we're going to roll through with, guys. Right now, Ullmark's hot. Hopefully the heater will continue into the playoffs, but you're going to have to keep that rotation as much as...
The one thing I notice is still happening, though, is the giving up the odd man rushes. They're doing it a lot. And Ullmark was just on top of his game last night. But you give up those breaks, and you're going to get beat by good teams. Nashville's decent. They're not great, you know?
Yeah.
But... they get the Rangers, and you give up 2-on-1s and breakaways to the Rangers all game long. You're gonna get smoked every time. Florida, they played them well this year. I just don't think they match up well with them in a playoff series.
Well, let's go back since the show last week, right? Last Wednesday we were all on a high. All right, our last episode because Boston beat Florida.
Yep.
And then we all sat and turned around. You know, we had a pretty good following in our Bruins Minute last week, and everyone was excited to see. After the show last week, they were playing Tampa Bay, and we're like, if they keep hitting, they're gonna come out. We're gonna beat Tampa Bay, and they lose 3-1.
And that's a tough one, a back-to-back. I don't put a lot of stock in a back-to-back game.
I do, because even Brad Marchand put stock in it. Because Brad Marchand was very vocal of saying, if you are ready, we play professional hockey, we should be able to play back-to-back games.
And they are able to play.
I was like, go Marchand. You know, that's what I want to hear more of these athletes. We know what we signed up for.
But they are ready to play. It just doesn't mean that they're going to have the same game from the night before.
Yeah.
Especially when the night before they were fighting back with Florida.
I mean, I think there was one fight in the Boston-Tampa Bay game. So we got continued hitting a little bit, but...
Well, they're all working with Maroon now in practice, so
yep.
Maybe he's bringing that
we looked pretty good against Washington on Saturday, which potentially could be our first-round matchup.
Could be.
Hey, we went to overtime and won a game, guys. Again, that's 2 games now we've won in overtime.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted it went to shootout, but again, the trend that we saw in Florida, I think has kept up. Because even though we got beat up by Tampa Bay and lost a game that we all said we needed to win to really, they were still playing a little physical. Washington, the physicality kept up, and then what we saw last night.
I'm a little excited because Maroon made the trip.
Yes.
Which means he potentially is going to play. I'm hoping
Thursday
next
in
game.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm hoping that would be fun because then they play Saturday against Florida again.
Yeah.
And that
huge shot.
I mean,
I have big time looking forward to that. Game's at 3:30 on Saturday, and it's going to be. If Maroon is playing, I'm tuning in for the start every period of that game.
I'm going to try. I'll watch the beginning. I got dinner plans and then the comedy show.
Bob Marley.
Yeah, Bob Marley. Sean Thornton's going to be MP on
That's
Saturday.
right, guys. Don't forget, MP on Saturday. Did you get your tickets?
I haven't
Sean
got my
Thornton
tickets
meet and
yet.
greet. You know, it's still... I think you still have a chance, or are they sold out?
No, he still has tickets available. I'm just debating whether or not I want to do it. So.
That doesn't sit good for them.
No, I mean, it's great
Way
for...
to shout out a sponsor. Still thinking about whether or not
Sorry,
it's
Matt.
worth my time.
I'm just debating whether or not
As of now, I'm thinking no.
Hey guys, we want you all to go to this event and
I
see
just don't
Sean
know if I'm
Thornton.
gonna go, Eddie.
Sean Thornton.
I don't know if I'm gonna go though.
He keeps sucking me in on the hockey breaks, so
Yeah.
I'm spending money on that, and I'm like,
These damn cards.
yeah, the cards.
So
He's got another good hockey
to wrap
break
up the
coming
Bruins
Friday.
minute, we should hopefully see
Maroon 5.
Maroon, yes, against Thursday night against Carolina.
Hopefully
if not,
against
hopefully
Carolina,
against
but
Saturday
if not,
on.
yeah. I mean, I think they're at least bringing him along so that he can practice with the team, and I think they're just trying to get him infused with the locker room at this
Well,
point.
didn't he have like a broken back?
He something to do with a disc. He had to have a disc.
So he had surgery on his back?
Surgery on his back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they knew when they traded for him that
Right.
he was due to start playing again the beginning of April. So
Tonight we have a big game, and hopefully we have a chance to clinch home court throughout the playoffs tonight.
Tonight with a win?
This is, I mean, I've had this game, this OKC game, marked on the schedule because this is the team out west. We already played them. OKC right now, regular season, they are the team. And they came,
OKC's very, very good. I think to say there is a team in the West, I still got to say Denver. But OKC has a chance to make it to the finals. I'll give you that.
but right now, so we played them, right? And what... Oh, I'm screwing up my words right here. That is the team we need to beat right now. That is a young, up-and-coming team. They've had a great run. They are tied with Minnesota for the number 2 spot, one game back of the Denver Nuggets. That keeps flip-flopping left and right. But when we played them a couple months back, you remember
SGA.
SGA, we'll just do it that way,
Yeah, because we can't say it.
kind of just destroyed us.
Yeah.
So this is a big game for us.
Yeah, they're good. They're
you
very
know,
good.
You have a chance to clinch, and you have a chance to say, hey, you know what? That was a fluke. We are this team.
Right.
We are. So I'm...
kind of a big deal tonight.
It is. It just came out.
Yeah.
Brown will play tonight, so I'm happy. They were talking that he may not play, but he was just like, I'm not going to miss this game,
And
which is good.
I think as you get later in the season, these guys get kind of bored. So you need a game like this
Yeah.
to kind of keep it together, right?
Well, we just played. The Charlotte game, I'm looking right over, even though we beat them up. That Boston-New Orleans game on Saturday, right? Did you watch that game?
Well, I think everybody forgot it was on because it was on at like 2 o'clock.
So.
So I forgot it was on.
New Orleans came out on fire. I mean, we couldn't stop them.
Yeah.
And you know what? I give it to. Can't believe I'm going to say this. I give it to Missoula because he did something that he hadn't done since we've seen him. He had an in-game adjustment because they came out that third period and they buckled down. They bodied Zion. They played excellent defense. New Orleans scored 11 points in that third quarter.
Yes.
They went almost 7 minutes without scoring.
Yeah.
And just to watch how we played that game in that third, I'm like, this is the team. If Missoula could do this in the playoffs, if it could have an in-game adjustment,
Yeah.
and to be like, hey.
So you know what was great about Belichick? Belichick could have in-game adjustments during the game. I hate it when these coaches have to have the in-game adjustment at the. I mean, it's better than what we saw last year.
It's better than what we saw all season
All
so
season,
far.
yeah. But like you wish that you could pick it up on the fly in the middle of the second quarter, right, and not have to wait until halftime, or maybe it's the players need to kind of reset or something. But that was one great thing about Belichick. You could see his adjustments within the first quarter.
And
Go ahead.
And I almost wonder,
Did he get a call from Brad Stevens?
Did Brad Stevens finally, did Sam, did Lee, did somebody finally step up and say,
hey, at the half, this is,
this is what we have to do.
Right.
Because really, that game, other than Derek White hit a big shot to put us up at halftime, we were fighting tooth and nail that whole game. We couldn't stop Zion.
Yep.
Valanciunas was getting rebounds. These guys were getting open corner threes. Herb Jones is an excellent corner three-point shooter. He was open every time he turned around. That third quarter, they bodied him.
Yeah.
I go, oh my goodness, guys. Finally, we have a guy that is shooting the lights out from three, hitting everything, and we guarded him so that he would miss.
Right.
Oh, but I was very happy to see that. They, Missoula either listened to his guys or figured it out on his own.
Right.
And if he can do that in the playoffs, guys,
yeah,
look out.
Yeah.
If he could actually coach and not get in the way of this team.
Right.
So,
yeah. Do you like Zion?
I love Zion.
Yeah, me too.
I've loved him from the beginning. I feel if his injuries didn't derail him, he would be the face of the NBA.
He's a good kid, and he's a matchup nightmare. He's like Gronk.
Very humble.
Yeah.
So, to cut you off.
Yeah. Which you did.
Zion, I don't want to say he's overweight. He's big, right?
He's a big, thick kid.
But the amount of crap that he's taken of just analysts and everything about Zion. But I'm saying they're constantly calling him fat. All the stuff on media. But what I'm saying is, has he gotten mad once?
No.
But that's what he's taking it with a grain of salt.
And a lot of these analysts, like, shut the hell up. Like, really? Like,
I know.
He's always been a big, husky kid.
But he's taken it.
They've
attacked him when he's done his interviews. They've attacked him after the games about it, and he has. I give it to him. He's got a great head on his shoulders because he hasn't had that. We haven't seen him lash out.
Right.
And
he's not like severely overweight. He's just a big, thick guy.
He's a big body.
He's a big body. And I'll tell you what, when the pandemic went down and people weren't playing basketball, as a young rookie, he paid for every single person that worked in that facility.
Yeah.
He paid them all while they're on break.
Yeah.
So everyone that worked at a concession stand, every janitor, he took money out of his own pocket. He was the first NBA guy to do that at 19 years old.
I'm happy to see he's almost made it through the whole year. Cross your fingers that he makes it into the playoffs.
It's kind of like Gronk back in the day. You're kind of like, he's playing these games, you got your fingers crossed at home, hoping that he doesn't get hurt. So it's going to be hard for him just because he's so big and explosive. We see it with Aaron Judge in baseball. We're crossing sports. It's hard for Aaron Judge to be that big, strong, and explosive and not have little injuries along the way.
But if he could string together another year playing the way that he can,
he's great. He's
the NBA wanted in the beginning to make him the face of the NBA. They were pushing him hard.
You got to play.
You got to play. This New Orleans team is a good team when they're healthy. The Brandon Ingram injury really hurt them because he's another underrated player.
Yeah, he's an all-star. But
that Western Conference, guys. I could sit here and talk about the NBA forever, and even in that Western Conference, these guys. The Probably Wrong page. Hope you guys are following. Constantly loves themselves some Edwards out of Minnesota.
Yeah.
That guy is just a constant show to watch.
Well, this is how good the Western Conference is. There's a chance that Golden State, the Lakers, they don't even make it to the playoffs.
They're all in the play-in right now.
Right.
That's just crazy to me.
That's how great the Western Conference is. And in the East, they'd be like 4 or 5 seeds.
Right now with the Celtics, my only thing, we've been talking about it all year, that they're going to be the best team in the league, but what does Tatum do in the playoffs? Because all the talk that I've heard lately is all the same stuff. The guy is not the finisher.
He's
not going to put the dagger in anyone in a playoff game.
Well, he hasn't yet.
He has.
He had a game 7 against Milwaukee, right?
Yep, everyone forgets a couple years ago too against Milwaukee. We had a game 5 that was do or die, and Tatum scored 17 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and then he scored 50, right, in a closing game against Milwaukee.
No, it's just
the feeling people are getting about him. He's not going to win a championship.
But they often say that until you do.
Yeah.
Right? They say this A-Rod couldn't win until he won. Peyton Manning couldn't win until he won. So now it's
Unless
Tatum.
he never
Kobe
wins.
couldn't win by himself.
Yeah, and then he did.
Yep.
My fear with Tatum is they play him so many minutes during the regular season. He's averaging, I think, like 37 minutes a game.
Yeah.
And then come the end of the playoffs, he's beat up and he's worn out. Where if we got to manage his minutes a little bit better. There was no... I mean, sometimes I watch these games, they're up 15, and I'm like, dude, why the hell is everybody out there?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to lock up the number one seed throughout. Like, these guys don't need to be playing 35, 36 minutes a game.
But you got that MVP award.
Yeah, I could care less about that.
Yeah, but
I think,
he wants it.
Yeah.
I honestly think that he's given up on that. And I think...
I don't think so.
Obviously, he wants it, but that's not his main focus right now. I mean, look at him.
It shouldn't be.
It's been obvious that it's not because he constantly will defer. He's got to score 30-plus points a game to win the MVP all year long. You have to. In the NBA... Nowadays, that's it. And he constantly will defer to the open guy. You know? Bob's chiming in here. He's inconsistent on doing it, Tatum. The team has to get over the hump in the finals. If they do, it could be open the floodgates. That said, he does play too much and needs some rest. Yeah. And he even knows that, Bob. He came out and said, was it last week? You know, he needs to win the NBA championship if he wants to be that guy.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's how the NBA is. Unless you win... You're always Charles Barkley never won a championship. Patrick Ewing, you hear that about guys. Karl Malone never won a championship.
Reggie
Miller. If you don't
Sean
win,
Kemp.
It's a big black eye on your whole career, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And that crosses over into all the sports. You
Yeah.
get all these guys that don't win a championship and people forget who they even were.
Right.
You know.
But it's championship or bust this year. So.
Yeah. And for the
really,
most part, you've been healthy.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, it feels like I mean, this is the year, but with Porzingis in there,
Porzingis is healthy. Drew Holiday is a free agent after the season. Maybe he takes off. Like, this is your year to win.
Yeah.
You had 45-year-old Al Horford trying to
Right.
finally win one.
Right. And is Porzingis going to be healthy all of next year too? Probably not. So you gotta do it this year.
Yeah.
Right. And we only get 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
So I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah. I love playoff basketball.
With the Celtics, Rondo retired.
Yeah, I saw him talk about that on the podcast with
Yeah.
I forgot he was still around.
Steven Jackson and who's the other guy? Matt Barnes.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks and we get NHL and NBA playoffs.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Should be an interesting time.
And guys, if you're big into betting, like we all dabble in, you better enjoy your prop bets now. Because Charlie Baker's trying to take it all away.
Oh, really? Huh?
Yeah, Louisiana just caved today. Starting August 1st, they will ban prop bets on sports.
Now, what's a prop bet?
Over/under on individual players. If that player, rebounds, scoring, points,
touchdown passes,
anything, goals, strikeouts.
So like, kind of like when there's a Super Bowl, there used to be all these like crazy little bets.
Yeah.
So now it's just going to be teams winning and losing and over/under.
So last year in the NHL, Connor McDavid was almost a sure bet to score a goal every night. I was putting money on it, and he was hitting almost every game. This year, it's Austin Matthews. He's got 62 goals this year, 61. He's scoring almost every game, so they're going to wipe out those,
Right. Baker's been, he blasted everybody, blasted the states, blasted. So Louisiana, all it takes is one to start caving. Now, on the flip side of this, I can understand in college, if you want to limit the prop betting on players, because I get it. It's very easy to get at these players. It's very easy to, whether you're winning with that guy or losing with that guy. So, I don't even know if you can do it on college. I'm assuming you can because you can do it on everything.
Yeah, I don't.
But if you can do it on college, I can understand. You know what? Eliminate the prop betting.
Yeah.
To do that in professional sports, you might as well just get rid of gambling because that's the huge thing.
Yeah.
Because I know you don't gamble, but you take it like a parlay. You're like, oh, I'm gonna take. It makes the game interesting. I'm gonna take the Celtics tonight. Tatum over 25. Tatum.
And I know people are doing it because people they snapshot me like I got these 5 guys tonight. That's a prop bet, right? Like Jaylen Brown over 25, Tatum over 5 assists, right? That's a prop bet.
Yep.
People do that a lot.
It's fun.
Yeah, and it makes the game more interesting. I'm Portuguese. I like my money in the bank.
Yeah, I do too. I like to win more of it.
Yeah.
I
don't take chances.
But it's just what's got me hooked in are these stupid bets that I make. And when I make them is you bet like $1 and you have like a 15-leg parlay, and it's like you can win $70,000. You know, it's just, and the worst part is like
the prop bets. You do like that one guy this year on an NFL prop bet. He bet like 30 different players to score a touchdown that Sunday, and they all hit, and he won almost $1 million on it.
And you see,
or 500,000, something stupid on a dollar bet.
And if you follow the FanDuel, you see people every night are hitting these outrageous bets. And Bob, I was just about to say, so Bob was talking about he had a prop bet here for $45K, and he missed it by one block. Oh. You know how many nights I wake up in the morning and go, oh, one guy, you know? Guy. You know, I hope those sound effects come through right there. But like last night, I put one together because I just found on DraftKings, you can bet guys to not hit home runs. All right, so I took a 15-guy parlay. I took the guys that were all, I mean, seriously, career 2 home run a year guys, and I took them all last night. And of course, I messed up and picked one wrong guy from Philly. Who's the guy with the long hair?
Brandon Marsh.
Yeah, and he hit one last night.
He did.
Yep. But I didn't know. So you can do the under with that. I mean, you love baseball.
I might be able to pull that one off.
You can
I don't even want to dabble, because once I start dabbling, I know how crazy I get.
Yeah, that's it. I'm good. Continue.
But I was like, wait a minute, I could bet on
Brandon Marsh not hitting a homer.
I do it
when you know you have a problem.
I'll bet on the Bruins games and take guys to not get any points.
Well, that's when I looked at this too. I go, I could pick guys like fourth line of guys who right now in the year only have 12 points, and I could put a parlay together with 15 guys who have, I mean, out of 80 games this year, 70 games have 12 points.
Probably a smart move by Charlie Baker. Get rid of this, because that's what's going on. It's a nightmare. Charlie Baker, good call.
But again, they're little. You put like $1, $2 on, and you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, wow, I just hit $135 off $1. Yeah. You know? So some guys even crazy amounts more.
Right, but I think the problem is with the people that can't control themselves. You're putting in $2. Like we talked about Rasheed Rice driving his car 188 miles an hour. There are idiots out there.
Tony, that's whether gambling is legal or not.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah. Just ask Shohei.
You can't control what these people are going to do.
Just ask Shohei's interpreter then. He'll tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down $500K. I might as well bet another $500K.
Yeah.
When you first started to say that, I forgot about the Ohtani. I'm like, wait a minute, Dave, what are you betting?
Yeah. Well, prop bets.
Tina's watching the show.
Yeah. Tina.
Yeah, I pulled that out of my, some cash out of my pocket.
It wasn't Dave. It was his interpreter.
Yeah, my interpreter. Yeah.
Bob's chiming in. That's a fair point, Tony. He sticks with the $10 bets. Those are the best, because it's almost like when you lose, like, you know what, I lost $10.
Yeah,
but if you win, the options are endless, what you can win.
Right.
So.
And it makes the night fun, gives you something to do. Yeah. But.
And that's why these online betting things are making billions.
Well, you go to a casino and you see people going crazy. You're like, what the? Like, I'll go to a casino with like $200. If I lose it, no big deal. If I win.
See, I lose $200, I'm still aggravated.
Right. But you see people just like funneling money into the. I'm like, gee, what the hell's wrong with these people?
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
I got a good friend of mine that likes to play the big ones, and when he gets down, he starts playing bigger. And I've seen him walk out with a decent amount of money. I've seen him walk out and down a lot. Yeah.
Oh, before we end the show tonight, something that happened a couple hours before. I wanted to touch briefly on the Houston Texans.
Okay. We're not going to talk about P. Diddy?
No, there's nothing P. Diddy related. But Houston Texans picking up Stephon Diggs. You now have C.J. Stroud. They grabbed Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, and I just had a brain fart with their other 2 wide receivers. Tank Dell. Thank you. They're big.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team that's
building.
They're building. They bought into their quarterback.
Yeah.
They found their guy. They think
they hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
a lot of these other teams haven't hit on a quarterback.
Right.
They did. If he can avoid the injury bug, the kid could be great.
Yeah.
Cincinnati hit on their quarterback, but Burrows had injury issues. It's kind of hurt that team. That team looked like they were
ready
on the way to a Super Bowl, and they've kind of gone south since. But all these other teams that drafting quarterbacks in the first round and just choking on it.
Yeah.
I'm just happy. I don't wish for summer to end ever, but I can't wait when the football season gets here because they're going to be some fun teams to watch. And this Texans team,
Yeah, and
they built this whole team.
Won a playoff game last year, right?
They have a solid defense. Now they have solid running back depth, wide receiver depth, because they re-signed Dalton Schultz. It's just, hate to say this, but it all hinders on Stroud staying healthy.
And
just like every other quarterback in the league, though, right?
But the good thing about these wide receivers is there's so many weapons on this team that if he has a what do they call it, the sophomore slump, he has enough guys to hide the deficiency and to carry him through.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to have that. He doesn't seem like the type. Yeah. And I feel like Houston's got
stop dating Amber Rose.
I feel like they've got the right structure in place with the coaching, and they've done all the right things going into last year's draft to take him and make him what he is now. And they saw what they had, and they're like, well, we're going to add to it this year.
And you just hope that Stephon Diggs doesn't destroy the locker room 6
I
games
was gonna say.
Well, when he gets to a team, let's not forget
usually
when he got to Buffalo.
Right.
When he first gets there.
You got to feed him. If he's not getting fed,
it's going to be tough to keep the targets fed there.
I know, he's got a lot of targets, right?
Yeah.
So you got to
At this point in his career, he's just going to accept the fact that you get the ball when you get the ball and do something good with it when you do.
Right. But it's easy. It's not. I don't think that's easy for him to think that way.
No, probably not.
But
he's got a better chance of winning, or at least getting to a championship game or Super Bowl with Houston. I think Buffalo's on their way down.
Yeah. Big time.
Josh Allen needs to be better. Josh Allen was better, and then he's been regressing.
Yeah. And is that coaching?
This move could make or break him.
Yeah.
And Bob brings up a great point with their offensive line. Are they strong? And then their offensive line is strong. He's saying, will they focus on strengthening that in the draft? Bob, one thing about the Texans, this is kind of something I've followed for the past couple of years because as I'm starting to see these guys come, they have drafted so well in strengthening all these positions. They've been drafting and trading for offensive linemen.
Didn't they have Patriots people over there drafting?
Yeah. They
Why didn't we keep those guys here? Because our drafts have been terrible.
And I think with all these skilled positions, Bob, I do think that they are going to be drafting their offensive line because they want to keep that healthy. They want to keep that running game in Stroud ball club.
And once you're good, eventually there'll be veterans cut, right? You probably have pick of whatever offensive line because they want to play on good, exciting teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why you got to be good in the NFL because then you can have pick of the litter.
Yeah.
Good for them. And we suck. We're going to weaponize the offense. We see other teams making moves.
Honestly
We're not doing anything.
I didn't even want to talk about the New England Patriots
we suck.
tonight. I just
they're talking about J.J. McCarthy with a number 3 pick.
That's what I didn't want to get into that again. We can wait another week or two. We had enough to carry us through this episode.
You have people arguing like you take the quarterback and build around him, and Houston went the other way. They built a team, and then they drafted the quarterback.
Well, that's what
and the 49ers built a team and then plugged in a quarterback that wasn't even a high draft pick.
Philly, same thing.
Yep. They got lucky, though, with a quarterback.
Yeah, okay.
They got lucky. He's great.
Yeah.
To grab a second-round pick that is a top 10 quarterback, close to 5, you got lucky.
But you have teams that do that, and we would all year long, we talked about what the Patriots should do. And it was build the offensive line, build the defense, build the weapons, plug and play quarterback until you can find the guy, So it just so happened that the Texans found that guy right off the bat.
Good for them.
It was a little bit, we shouldn't say found that guy right away because they had drafted the other white guy that's now on the bench.
Third-round pick, same year as Mac Jones. What the hell's his name? Belichick actually liked him.
Yeah.
Pretty solid, though.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
Davis Mills.
Yeah. Davis Mills.
Bob.
Yes. And Texans got lucky because Carolina passed on Stroud.
Yeah.
And they drafted a 5'4" quarterback.
Yep.
Bryce Young. What are you doing?
That was probably the biggest mistake I've seen in the draft.
And they traded up to get him, right?
Yeah. They did.
They gave the Bears a load.
A load, yeah.
So.
And I watched him. Not that I watch college football much, but I did see a little bit of Alabama that year.
Yeah, Bryce Young
the
was
kid,
just...
he's not good.
Kyler Murray-esque out there.
Small.
Yeah.
He's got a weak
Flutie out
arm.
there.
He's not, I mean, not something to build around. I would have taken Richardson from Florida over that kid.
It's funny. I feel like we could all be GMs in sports. These GMs are terrible.
Oh, the teams that I used to build in my Madden franchise? Woo!
Yeah,
Let me tell you.
I could put together a playoff Major League Baseball team under $150 million. Piece of cake.
You do it in your fantasy all the time.
Oh, God. It's like, what are these teams doing? What are these GMs? How do they have jobs? Why are we working at 5 p.m. on a Wednesday? Like, we should be... GMs of pro sports teams. These guys are terrible.
This is our platform. This is where we're going to get our
This is where we're
Give me a look. Give me a look.
Give me that Bruins roster.
Yeah,
let me do some stuff with it.
Well,
Oh, boy.
another great show.
All right.
Hey, before we get out, Bob Roxburgh, Exennial Odyssey Podcast. Great to hear you back on. Hey.
Can we give them some fireworks? we got some fireworks going.
So, check that out. He's getting back, But... till next week, let's roll it on out of here.